Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
Going anywhere. Again, I say sanctuary cities are racist. All the jobs are going to illegals and to certain denominations. That is wrong. You're not going to be allowed to get away with it. Your time is going to be up. You want us to feel for your families, but you don't feel for our families. Again, the black community has literally been destroyed by racist, illegal immigration, and we're not going to have it. When my people do a crime, we get 3 strikes. Your people do a crime, they get amnesty, they get benefits, and they're not paying taxes. Okay? Publication 17 IRS. They're allowing you people to claim people in Mexico. I can even claim people in New Orleans when there was a flood.
All right, B1 family, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, goddess and gods. Welcome to the Black Alpha Network. Once again, I appreciate the pull up. I also appreciate everybody who came through our Twitter space on Saturday night. It was beyond epic. We did about 2.2 thousand people, and I say about 10 hours. So it was crazy. We covered a lot of grounds. We had a lot of thorough brothers and sisters who spoke a lot of truth to power, laid out a lot of facts, and a lot of things that people don't want to talk about. They tap dance around and they jive around. We got right to it like we always do, live and direct. So I appreciate everybody who was in the space, and I appreciate everybody here right now. Black Alpha Network, make sure you bang them notifications, smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel. We working, we building, but we doing it like we always do, as a team and as a family. So I send out a big B1 salute to everybody, all my race regulators. Let's mount up and let's get to work and talk about the things that they don't talk about, but let's do it in our own special fashion. B1. Now, you see the title, and it's the same title and the same subject that we spoke about on Saturday night, but we're going to tackle it right here on the Black AlphaCast. Is calling ICE patriotic? Is calling ICE snitching? Is it the thing to do? Is it wrong? Well, the answer to that is what most people said, and yes, it's overwhelmingly patriotic. And redial is patriotic. And speed dial is patriotic. And landlines and cell phones and iPhones and Androids. Any way you can call ICE, that shit is patriotic to do. And the reason being is because we are all tax-paying citizens. We are all law-abiding citizens, and if somebody is committing a crime or if someone is breaking the law, then it is our job to do so. And not to mention, those same people have no unity towards us. They have no compassion or love for us, and they will call ICE on us in a minute if the roles were reversed. Problem for them is we're indigenous to this country. Problem for them is we foundational black Americans. Problem for them is you can't kick us out. We've been here. And that's the thing that we have to talk about. They do not like us because we're the one group that you can't send home. You can't send us home. As a matter of fact, the dominant society can send their ass home before you can send us home. We not only built this country, we were here thousands of years before the country was even thought of. Before people got off of them boats, and I'm not talking about us, okay? Because by the time we got off boats, we were already walking around this country. That's a fact. Other groups, when they got off them boats, hopped over the border, swim over the river, every time they got here, they were black Americans. Remember that. I don't care who you are. I don't care what century you showed up. When your ass got here, we were already here. As a matter of fact, Tariq Nasheed has an upcoming movie coming out. It's called Maroon, if I'm not mistaken. And it explains exactly how foundational we are. Indigenous, which makes us true to this land. Not to mention we built this land. Not to mention we're the ones who provide the backbone for this country. And not to mention, we pay taxes. So since we do all of those things, and I just mentioned things that go back to 1,000 years, okay? That's a long time, all right? So when you say things that go on for thousands of years, you got the right to pick up your phone and call 1-800-ICE. ICE, ICE, baby, okay? ICE, which means I'm calling everybody. I'm calling every day. I'm calling everywhere. State, local, federal, it don't matter. Speed dial and redial. Brother Marcel Dixon, he came through the space the other day and he coined the perfect term. He said, call ICE and call them twice. Salute to him for that one. And that's how we got to act, and that's what we got to stay on. That's the type of mentality that we have to approach the situation with. You got a lot of people who have objections and say, man, that's not right, man. That ain't the street code. We don't tell on nobody. Nah, we dismiss that and we disqualify that. First off, I'm not taking any type of political advice from a dusty ass street dude. That ain't happening. And half them guys who run around here all day long and talk about no snitching, they the motherfuckers eating a Happy Meal telling on everybody. All right, y'all seen the pictures with a guy sitting there talking to the investigators and he got a goddamn Happy Meal. I'm talking about he got the Happy Meal with the kid fries. He's telling on motherfuckers for kid fries. He ain't even got this shit supersized and he telling. This is how low budget and bootleg these motherfuckers are. So he's sitting there telling on everybody, got a little kid Coke, got a little goddamn kid hamburger and some fries, and he telling on the whole gang. So no, we don't take no type of political advice from no dusty street dude, okay? Especially a guy who claims the street code, but he doesn't really live by it. And what you'll come to find out is that they know they're in the wrong. So what they do is they hide behind a fake street code, a mythological street code, to really just cape for outsiders. Really what it is they love the people of color, they love the minorities, and they don't want the tails on their friends. All right, that's what they really are. But they're trying to act like super gangsters and be like, man, we don't tell on nobody. Yeah, you tell on a brother real quick. But you don't want to tell on this other person who's coming over here, bringing drugs into the community, taking jobs from the community, and quite frankly, terrorize the community. You won't tell on him, but you're going to tell on all your gang members though, right? No, so we disqualify them. And that's the common theme that you started to see. There's only about 3 people that came against us and said, oh no, calling ICE is wrong. And you've seen a pattern. It was either a dusty street dude who's caping. It was a Democrat voter who was caping, because you know they believe anything the Democrats say. The Democrats literally open their mouth and then plant words in and they just regurgitate them, all right? So you seen the street guy, the Democrat, and then you saw the we are the world Negro. You know what I'm saying? The kumbaya Negro. And normally the kumbaya Negro is one of those two. Everybody else literally, from East Coast to West Coast, and we had a lot of people who came through and spoke and literally laid down statistical facts. Everybody else said call ICE. And they just talked about how illegal immigration is not good for the black community at all. In no means, you can't find a piece, you can't find a small part, nothing. It benefits us in no way, shape, form, or fashion. So everybody else was for calling ICE, and these 3 groups I just mentioned, Dusty, Democrat, Kumbaya, those 3 were the only groups that were saying, no, that's wrong of us. We should not do that. We need to be good allies and peoples of colors. That's the type of shit that they was on, and this is what we were on. Only difference is we had facts on our side, and they had just a bunch of babble. I mean, we had somebody call in from Nicaragua. He was on there talking about something. What do you do when the immigrants leave America? So translation, because I didn't hear what he said when he said the shit. I had to listen extra close because he wasn't even speaking proper. But translation, he said, what happens when FBA runs out all the immigrants? I said, run out the immigrants? I said, shit, who ran them in? Not us. As a matter of fact, coming in this country, you broke the law. So I said in quick terms, in my real B1 language, okay, in my real FBA vernacular, I told him, fuck you. Don't worry about what we doing on this side. Worry about your own way. Because remember, you calling here worrying about us. We not calling you. As a matter of fact, we wouldn't even know where to call you because you probably got some fucking satellite phone and the shit's bouncing off of goddamn farms and shit. All right, so take your ass back to Nicaragua and worry about your issues, and we're going to be over here doing what we always say on the Black AlphaCast. I have no time and no energy for you because I'm too busy being black. Thank you very much. And then we hung up and got his ass up out of there. I should play the clip. Damn. It's on the space. Check out the space. The replay's up on Twitter. If you get the opportunity, go ahead and listen to it, man. You'll hear it. Most people were thorough, but you had a bunch of other, the Dusties was going to call. You know, the clowns, the suckers, you already know the smuts was on the line. And it's funny how they can call us and try to heckle our zone, but they get mad when we call and report them for doing something that they're actually doing. You see the difference? One person's picking up the phone, worrying about FBA being law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, which I'm gonna always go back to. And then the other group is actually picking up the phone and, making reports that are actually legitimate and legal. We have legality on our side. We have citizenship on our side. We have foundational on our side. They have trespasser, illegal, fled my own country. You see the difference? It's a big difference. So we can't really communicate like that. So there's no need for any back and forth, okay? They love getting foundational Black Americans in debates for things that aren't even debatable. We'll be winning and we'll be on the right side debating with some clown that has no business even talking to us. We don't do that no more. That's a G check. We don't ran that full circle, and those days are done. Right now, you cannot talk to us. What Dr. Hendrik Clark say? He said, I only debate with my equals, everyone else I teach. That's exactly the truth. That's exactly the case, and that's exactly what we have to stay on. And good thing is, that's where black folks are today. No longer are we debating with motherfuckers that we gotta come all the way down the ladder to debate with a motherfucker. We gotta drive all the way down the hill. We gotta stoop to the lowest level to talk to you. Fuck that. Okay, if you can't see us eye to eye, face to face, and if you ain't coming in good faith, then you can get the fuck out of our zone. These motherfuckers is calling our Twitter space. You need to quit worrying about calling that goddamn Twitter space, and you need to worry about ICE getting called on you. That's the goddamn problem. Everybody got a damn FBA Twitter space on speed dial. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that something? People be calling these FBA Twitter spaces from all over the earth. Motherfuckers be in Ghana, motherfuckers be in Nigeria, motherfuckers be in Mexico, motherfuckers be everywhere. And they somehow can find their way into a FBA Twitter space just to try to come and heckle us for 30 seconds. This is how low some of these bootlicks can be. I mean, very low. Low vibration. Their vibration is so low it don't even register. You know what I'm saying? All the problems that you got so many problems that you fleeing your country. You got a damn bag on you. You jumping over a goddamn barbed wire fence or swimming across the goddamn river with alligators. And through the fence and the alligators, you still thinking about FBA. That's what I call rent free. Let me say this. If you have to flee your country for any reason, the last thing you need to be worrying about are the black people in this country. All right? Don't worry about us, okay? Worry about that alligator biting your ass and worry about that barbed wire fence poking your ass. After you do all of that, then maybe you can think about us. But please don't think about us while you running from a goddamn alligator or running from Border Patrol or running from a cartel. Please don't worry about FBA when you under all that type of distress, okay? It's in your best interest. FBA, we gonna be fine, all right? We gonna always be fine. We've always been good. We gonna be even better, all right? So worry about the alligator and the cartel and then worry about us tomorrow, all right? Good. All that FBA hatred is slowing you down. You need to save all your running energy for ICE, okay? As we proceed. It's like clockwork. It's like clockwork, y'all. The FBA hatred is real in these streets. But this is what we're dealing with, and that's just a few aspects that we touched on the other night and what we're going to allude to even further today right here on the Black Alpha Network. By the way, I appreciate all my day ones. I appreciate all my new riders, all my new subscribers. Anybody who's here, however you found the channel, you know I love you. One thing we talk about right here on the Black Alpha Network is that we are a family, and that family consists of all of us. There's not one person who's on this side of the fence, not one person who's a part of this B1 team that we do not represent. We represent everybody. I don't care where you're from. If you got that B1 mentality and you live that certified black lifestyle, then I'm rolling with you. So to all my B1s and the whole certified black society, I salute you, and we're gonna keep this thing going. We working, we building, we grinding. Yes, indeed. Now, beyond all the people caping for him, beyond all the alligators and El Chapo chasing your ass, beyond all of that, there's some real statistical facts on how this affects not just black Americans, but all Americans, okay? So anybody out here caping for that is a goddamn liar, all right? You got to understand, illegal immigration in this country, it costs America $300 billion a year. And I made this statement the other day, and I'm going to make it again right here. If you have a child that was born only 5 years ago, then you're talking about over $1 trillion that has been spent on illegal immigration and that kid's short lifetime. The more you know. And that's what we're talking about. When you talk about $1 trillion being spent in a few years, that's so much money right then alone. They talk about, we can't find the money for reparations. Where the money gonna come from? I don't know, maybe that illegal money that you spend all the time, because that's illegal money. It has to be illegal money because you're spending it on illegal people. That ain't no different than drug money. That ain't no different than a Ponzi scheme. That ain't no different than money laundering, okay? You're spending it on something illegal, which means that is illegal money. Point blank, you can't separate the two of them. It's easy to connect those dots. So anybody saying they cannot connect them dots, once again, is a liar, and they lying through their goddamn teeth. Yes, indeed. And last time I checked, when you see America, you see the worst education, you see the worst roads, busted roads, highways, inadequate housing, urban decay. 40 million Americans are living beneath the poverty line. The black unemployment rate is 13%. It's 15% for black males, okay? Black American homelessness is at an all-time high. You can go to California and they literally have whole neighborhoods full of homeless people. Yes, neighborhoods full of homeless people. Not neighborhoods full of houses where people live inside. No, neighborhoods where people are living on the outside. That's why Maxine Waters took her ass down there and they ran her off the fucking block. Because she was in there smiling, showing her fucking teeth, telling people, you need to go home. And the people said, we don't have any home. But she's going to walk her ass right off of there and go sign some law for illegal aliens that contributes billions of dollars. As a matter of fact, her state, California, spends $10.5 billion every year on illegal immigration. Illegal immigration, not just regular immigration, illegal immigration. So if you add just typical immigration to illegal immigration, now you're dealing with the upper trillions of dollars. Do you feel me, family? This is what we're talking about. So when you have black folks running around here saying, I just can't call ICE. Or you got another black folk turn around and saying, man, this thug, cuz I ain't never called no motherfucking police on no damn body. Man, fuck both of y'all. How about that one? All right, Black Alpha Network, middle fingers up, fuck that. Because we're talking about our people, we're talking about the advancement of our people, and any slave mentality that gets in the way of the empowerment for foundational black Americans is getting his ass thrown out the club, ran off the block. We always say right here on the Black Alpha Cast, we're gonna put your ass on the curb like it's trash day. All right, so them motherfuckers is going straight to the curb, no stop at all. We had another guy call in and he said, well, what about those with their green card? He thought he had somebody too. Hey, you ever had somebody tell you something they think they got you? He thought he had an I got you moment, right? And one of the ladies on there, I cannot remember her name. I want to say it was Mona. Yeah, it was a sister from Chicago. Mona, if you're listening, B1 salute. She said, I don't care if you got a green card or not. If you're a criminal or we suspect that you participate in criminal activity, you get the authorities called on you, point blank. And I love that statement. So Sister Mona, shout out from the Black Alpha Network. I salute you. Because we're not separating the illegals from the non-illegals. We're not separating the document from the undocumented. No, how many times do we go down that path? How does that road always end up for foundational black Americans when we try to separate the same group? When we try to split one team down the middle? It never works in our favor. We always try to separate the Democrats from the Republicans. We always try to separate the liberals from the conservative, the northerner from the southerner, the Confederacy from the Union. It's all the same mentality. It does not matter. It serves you no purpose trying to split two people who do not like you. Marcus Garvey Jr., he said it best. He said they'll have quarrels amongst each other until you show up. Anti-black racism is the thing that binds the earth. It's the one thing that connects that group to that group to that group. They won't agree with shit, except for they both don't like black people. Anti-black racism crosses all culture lines, state lines. It busts a U-turn, goes over the ocean, gets in a time machine, goes back into the past, gets in the same time machine, goes into the future. It does not matter where you go. Supremacy and anti-black racism is everywhere. I told somebody the other night, you might run into a supremacist trying to get away from one. So we're not worried about running away from it or being nice to it or splitting it in half. No, your best bet is to stand firm, 10 toes down, and handle it when you see it. That is the code. The code is not running. The code is not hiding. The code is not trying to split it in 2 different sections and 5 different categories. The good ones, the bad ones, the nice ones, the friends, the allies. Fuck that. They all anti-black until further notice. And that's how we have to approach it. I mean, look at it. Black folks was trying to run away from Donald Trump, ran into Joe Biden. Black folks was trying to run away from the Confederacy, ran into the Union. As a matter of fact, the Union soldiers harmed more black folks than the Confederacy did back in the day. Go look at the Devil's Punch Bowl. Look that up. That was Union soldiers. All right? This goes way back. There's a long history of this. So when you're trying to separate 2 groups that are anti-black, it leaves you with anti-black. It cancels itself out. Yes, when you try to separate 2 groups that are anti-black, you still get left with anti-black. So you got to keep your eyes focused. You got to have your radars on. You got to have your antennas up for all of them across the board because they're coming from a place where anti-black racism exists. This is what I was telling everybody. You have to understand these people who come to America from other countries, they're coming from countries that have anti-black racism already. Look at how the black people are treated in these countries already. You can go to any place where there are immigrants that are coming to America and guarantee you the black people who are in their countries are treated like dirt. It's all through South America. Go down to South America and look how bad black people are treated, even though the majority of them are black. Straight up, they got more melanin down there than they can count. And still, racist as hell. They're so anti-black in South America that the blackest person you meet down there hates black people. I ain't lying. Everybody who knows about South America, the history, the past, the present, knows I'm telling the truth. You'll go down there and meet somebody that'll be 5 shades darker than midnight, And they'll still be anti-black. You can meet them right now and say, hey, homie, you know you black, right? They'll say, I'm not black, I'm just dark white. And he'll really believe that shit. And they'll be passing judgment on other black folks. Straight up, they do not feel that they're black. They feel they're just the darkest white person in the room. Trust me when I tell you that shit. It's that deep, deep anti-black racism that's got black folks running around there being anti-black. Boy, that's cold. Boy, that's cold. Real talk. I was down in South Florida and I knew this melanated sister, and she talked me down how she wasn't black. She talked about black folks in third, fourth, fifth, sixth person. She made it clear she is not black. She ain't one of us. She's on the other side of the street. And that other side of the street is where all the dominant society's at. You get the picture? They do not have a B1 mentality out there. They don't. And that brings me back to what I'm saying. So if they have that type of thought process in their homelands, and black folks are saying, come on in, they're not bringing any B1s with them. They're not bringing no black power with them. They're not bringing no certified black with them. They're bringing that I'm not black, I'm just dark white. And that's just in South America. That's not to mention everywhere else where immigrants are welcome to come into this country. They're bringing anti-black racism with them. Trust and believe me when I tell you that shit. Look at Joe Biden right now. He just gave stimulus checks, IOUs, reparations 3 different times to the Ukrainians. They were provided with transportation, interpreters, housing, things that the average American can't have access to, but people from other countries come here and they get full access to it. There go that $310 billion we talking about a year, everybody. But anyway, he brings in the Ukrainian refugees, and look how they treat black folks. The Africans over there get treated like what? Terrible. Ukraine has a littered history of anti-black racism, and not even some hidden shit either. It's like out in the open. They were out there supporting Derek Chauvin. I mean, literally, they got big ass posters saying, Derek Chauvin, we support you. They didn't even try to be a fake ally. Like, y'all remember when everyone was being a fake ally and they was putting up George Floyd memorials all over the earth and paintings and shit? Ukraine said, man, we ain't even playing. Fuck that. Derek Chauvin all day. They didn't even hide their anti-black racism. See, because it's not even a secret. Like, everyone knows it. It's so bad that the government actually put out a statement warning everybody, saying, hey, in the Ukraine, they do hate black folks and they call y'all the N-word. Just let y'all know, so when y'all see them, just know that they don't like y'all. This is how bad it is. Now think about that. You're literally openly importing anti-black racism into this country and then telling everybody. The same country that runs around and says, we need to fix race and let's have a conversation about it. And then they say, oh, by the way, these people that we brought in, by the thousands, they hate y'all. But by the way, move out the way so they can get your seat. Move out the way so they can have your spot. And that money that you guys want for reparations, no, we're going to give it to them first. And that's only one country that we're talking about. So it's clear the Biden administration is out here openly recruiting anti-black racists, and they're picking every anti-black racist country that they can find. And they're not even hiding it. Not at all. And that's to one of the bigger points that we touched on, is that they want to bury foundational black Americans under immigration. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about this in the 70s and the early 80s. Neely Fuller talked about this in the 70s and the early 80s. This has been laid out for 30 plus years. They called it a long time ago that the immigrant from outside this country is here to replace foundational black Americans, because people have to understand this. FBAs, we are the only supremacist, defiant group on the planet Earth. If anybody disagrees with me, show me another one. And when you show me this other one that you think you got, tell me how long they fought supremacy, tell me how hard they fought supremacy, and tell me how strong they are while they were fighting supremacy. And I guarantee you can't nobody touch us. They know our skills go unmatched. Don't show me some group in some big ass country that fought supremacy for a weekend and try to compare them to FBA. You can't do that. No, if you ain't fought it as consistently as us, if you ain't fought it as long as us, and you ain't put in that work like us, be quiet, sit your ass down. Because everyone knows that certified black society and foundational black Americans are cut different. Cut different, we understand it. Terminologies that we use, these other groups don't use. These other groups don't say the code. These other groups don't say certified. These other groups don't say foundational B1. None of these terms are even used in these other groups. And I always say, right here on the Black Alpha Network, subscribe to the channel, bang them notifications. I salute you. I always say right here on the Black Alpha Network, if you see any group or community that does not use the term code or their version of code, if they do not use black first or their version of black first, then that community is a bunch of coons. Quote that, respect that, know that. Moving on. So the dominant society understands that FBA, we are the only thorn in their side. We're their only 500-year headache. They done went over to Africa and just conquered the whole goddamn continent. They only represent about 9 to 10% of Africa, but they own 100% of Africa. Go think about that. Go think about that. They own the bushes. They don't just own the cities. They own the damn bushes. They go over there and pouch on all the animals over there. They go over there and take the oil, take the diamonds, take the minerals, everything, and just go right home with it. No problem. You understand? FBA, we don't go for that. We over here outnumbered and putting in more work than them. Think about that. You got to really understand that. So we're the only thorn in the side because we're the only ones who stand up to them, stand on our own, and are about that damn life. Feel me? So them knowing that, their first plan was to get black folks to blindly vote Democrat and use those democratic policies to bring in everybody from all over the earth just to overplant black Americans. Because they know they can't get with us physically, so they try to get with us politically. Everyone knows when you try to get one-on-one, mano-a-mano with FBAs, you start getting them real warrior class coming out. When I say warrior class, I'm talking about our brothers, sisters, kings, queens, the goddess, and the gods on both sides. And they don't want that because that's a whole different kind of smoke. So they'd rather rely on the bootlicks, the Sambos, the Vote Blue no matter who, the Bill Clinton play the saxophone, the Yes We Can, the if they go low, we go high. Because they know that all them they go low, we go high motherfuckers is going to let them bring in everybody from other countries. And eventually they'll blink and they'll take all our spots. And if you look, that's what's been going on since the 1970s. And that's why our master teachers, Dr. Claude Anderson, Neely Fuller, amongst others, have been telling us that. You understand? It's just the only problem is that their voices were drowned out by all the yes we cans, you go low, we go high, anybody but Trump. And it's our job right now, family, to make sure that our voices don't get drowned out like our elders' voices got drowned out. And let me tell you something, we're doing a damn good job. That's why I always say this is a whole brand new era. We need to just go ahead and take the past and just throw that shit to the back. That's another chapter. The only thing that remains is the lessons that we were taught from our elders, and everything supremacy used to think is a whole different game. We done took the fucking script and ripped that bitch in half, and we're writing our own script now. And that's what everyone hates. Trust and believe. This B1 era, anybody who knows what I'm talking about right here on the Black Alpha Network, I say it all the goddamn time. This era is different. This era is unique, and it's not like anything that anyone's ever saw. That's why all the anti-black racists, they're shook right now. They don't know what to do. I mean, all of their tricks and their con games get called out. We're calling out their con games before they even say them. Back in the old days, these motherfuckers would go into their trick bag and come up with something, and black folks would literally believe the shit for 50 years. I mean, look at voting Democrat. They've been falling for that con game for 60 fucking years. You know goddamn well we ain't falling for something for 6 seconds. This era is different. I'm on record stating it, and I'll state it again. This B1 era right here is what the dominant society always feared. Always feared. That's why they're so shook right now. Don't know what to do. That's why they got to go deeper and deeper into their trick bag. And at this point, they just reach it. Because everything they throw, we Dikembe Mutombo in that shit. Not today. Not today. So all the tricks that they come up with, it doesn't work. How many times they gonna run the first black? We call that shit out. Kamala Harris is supposed to be the new Barack Obama. That shit didn't work. Ketanji Brown Jackson is supposed to be the new Kamala Harris. That shit didn't work. There's nothing that they're doing at this point that's working, man. We in full swing, full effect. There has been 5 eras of foundational black Americans in this country. And I'm gonna say it one more time for the people who do not know. You have the indigenous era, 1. You have slavery, 2, Reconstruction, 3, Civil Rights, 4, and today represents 5. That is the B1 era, and that's what we are all participating in. And as I've always said, there is no better time than ever to be a foundational black American than right now. We are all living the dream and we're making it happen. That's the facts. So all this shit when they're trying to bury us under immigration from democratic policies, we're seeing it and we're calling it. Because you know the dominant society is thinking, why deal with these FBAs who love themselves? Why deal with these FBAs who are strong? Why deal with these FBAs who are against all odds, the biggest survivors on the planet? Why deal with them when we can get somebody who's subservient, docile, submissive, wants to snuggle next to the dominant society? Because that's what it's really about. That's what it's really about. The majority of these people, when they say, we come to America for a better living and the American dream, to them, the American dream is living next door to Becky. Come on. Let's be honest. Come on. Let's be real, family. We all know what it is. You know that I am beyond direct, beyond to the point, and beyond uncut. Everyone knows that. So let's not play these games. The same way that a lot of these coons run around here and they really want interracial access, is the same way that the majority of immigrants want interracial access to Becky, Karen, Billy, or Ken. That's what it's really about. They can say the American dream all fucking day long. They can pledge allegiance to the flag. They can talk about fleeing a war-torn country. Yada, yada, motherfucking yada. At the end of the day, they want to live next door to Billy and Sally and Sarah and Susan and snuggle up next to them, and perhaps maybe they'll get the invite to the barbecue. That's what they want. That's why they always tell their kids, y'all know what I'm talking about, these ain't no secrets. Everything we laying out right here on the Black AlphaCast is something everyone knows, but very few people say out loud. Well, guess what? We gonna say that shit out loud. Everyone knows when they get here, they tell their kids, or excuse me, they coach their kids to go get a W wife, to go get a W husband, to go marry into the dominant society. We all know that shit. Anybody who says otherwise ain't true and don't believe they goddamn self. No, we all know it. We all know they really want interracial access to the dominant society. That's why they come over here and never have smoke for the dominant society. Let's go over to Africa. They got terms like Akata and all them other things they call us. How many terms do they got for the dominant society? They don't even use the term dominant society. They don't even use the term supremacy. Let me ask this question again, family, while we cooking. Do you hear Akata more or do you hear supremacy more? It ain't even close. That shit's like 10-1, all right? You always hear Kata, never hear supremacy. And if they don't believe us, just get on Twitter. How many anti-FBA spaces do you see? How many anti-supremacy spaces do you see? Tariq Nasheed gets more hatred from Africans than the whole dominant society gets. Yes, I gotta say that one more time. Let me run that back. I'm gonna put the car in reverse and say that 2 times. Tariq Nasheed has got more attention, more hatred, and more focus on Twitter from Africans than the dominant society or supremacy ever has. Family, are we lying or are we speaking the hard facts? Everybody knows it. You can look around. They don't have no issues with the W's. They want to come over here and live next to the W's. They want to be friends with the W's. They want to go to the same school. They want to go to the same job. They want to have barbecues and little picnics with the W's. And if they act like a real good minority, then maybe, just maybe, they'll get lucky enough that they can have some interracial access. Because that's what it's all about. When we say American dream, they see interracial access. They can say all day long, we came over here for the American dream. The American dream to them is being next to the dominant society. How do you know that it's about W access? They always say how Black Americans are uneducated, how Black Americans live bad, how Black Americans just got it so messed up. That's funny though. Then why are you coming over here so quick? Why would you come to a place that you say is so bad and the education is so poor? If you say the education is bad, why don't you just stay where you're at? If the land is so bad, why don't you just stay where you're at? Oh, because it's not about the jobs. Bullshit. It's not about the housing. Bullshit. It's really about you want to live next door to Karen. Oh, I got it. Okay, so all that shit about the American dream is just basically you living next to Zaddy. And you want to know what they really mad at? They're mad that foundational Black Americans live where we live, and we don't give a damn about acceptance from nobody. They really get mad at that. Y'all gotta understand, a lot of this is just jealousy because they come from countries where they don't see a lot of W's. They don't see W's all the time. So they get mad at us and they say, you Black Americans live around all those white people and you don't chase them? If I lived around Karen, I'd be there every day. What's wrong with you damn FBAs? You damn hate group. Hey, they call us hate groups because we don't love W's like they do. If you ain't loving W's, they don't love you. Out of all the things they can be mad at, they mad that we live next door to the W's and we stay Black first, and they live on the other side of the earth and they Black last. Damn shame. They mad that we have our own venues and we don't invite their ass. They mad that foundational Black Americans have our own culture. All that shit about we don't have our own culture, they know goddamn well we have our own culture. And our culture means that we do what we want, how we want, and we stay in our own space and time. This right here, Black Alpha Network, Certified Black Society, Foundational Black American, this is us. This is our culture, and we don't accept outsiders. Because they know damn well anywhere they go, they have to have a W chaperone. They get real upset that we can have a W neighbor and never invite that motherfucker over. They get really upset that we can go to the job and work around all them W's, go home, and we are Black first. We stay at our Black house with our Black family, our Black kids. We go to Black family reunions, we spend Black dollars, and we buy Black. And they hate that shit because they would do everything the opposite. And the real root of their jealousy is that they wish they didn't come from a country where they're around each other all day. They wish they lived in America where they're surrounded by W's next door. All right. And they're mad that when we're next door to W's, we don't give a fuck. We still stay black first. They don't like that our circle is small. They don't like that we prefer to be around other black people. They don't like that we prefer to be around black women and black men. They hate that shit because they know they don't want that. And if you don't believe me, go look at their country. Every single time somebody from the outside comes into their country, they roll out the red carpet. Every time we go over to these countries, they call us a kata. See the difference? Point proven. Facts. You can't make it more clear. That's what we call a motherfucking race receipt. Right here, we cashing them. Checkmate. That's exactly the case. They get mad at us because we don't kiss Karen's ass. They do. We don't need to be up underneath Massa 24/7. They do. Our black first independence rubs them the wrong way because they're not independent even in their own continent. So to make things clear, FBA, we don't hope to be black first. We prefer it. We're not wishing to be black first. We prefer it. So when you see foundational black Americans in our own lane, minding our own business and doing our own thing, that ain't no coincidence or no accident. We made it that way. Unlike them. Everyone who comes to this country, either they're here to join in with supremacy because they're already supremacists, or they come here to get next to supremacy so they can have access. Those are the two types of groups that you see coming here, and none of them are cut like us. Yes, indeed. And these are more aspects of why FBA need to be grabbing that phone, pressing speed dial, and calling anybody out. And also, people who come here and they think they're safe and they think a green card is a get out of jail free pass, fuck no. Because as we've already illustrated, the mentality doesn't change. Any place that's anti-black has dominant society love. You cannot separate the two of them. That is a mentality that these people bring to the country. Speaking of things they bring to the country, let's also talk about drugs that come to this country. Let's talk about news coverage of these drugs that come to the country. On the space the other night, we broke it down. Like I said, we had some businessmen who broke it down from the business aspect. We had some street dudes who broke it down from the street aspect. And then we just had some regular black people who broke it down for every common day life. And you could see one common denominator in all of this is that black folks are severely affected in a negative way by illegal immigration. Straight up and down. The businessman, we're talking about jobs being taken from black folks because every single time an illegal takes a job, the people with the highest unemployment take the biggest hit. And who has the highest unemployment? Black Americans. Everyone knows this. Study after study. Sociology reports have shown that black Americans consistently get hurt by illegal immigration. And these folks are still out here at the border saying, come on in. Come on in. A lot of people don't even understand this because a lot of this is also swiped and it's hush hush. No one wants to talk about it. But y'all know we don't give a fuck about that. We make a living talking about what they don't want to talk about. We make a living speaking on what they don't want to hear. But they're going to get this goddamn work. A lot of times, these statistics get swept underneath the rug. And a lot of times, these stories don't get spoken of. I remember hearing stories about brothers and sisters in California back in the 90s when I was a little kid, talking about how they would be harassed by these Mexican gangs that were running straight A students home from school every day, going to well-affluent black neighborhoods and terrorizing these people. Now, they never did this to the real G's out in California because it's just like supremacy. They pick soft targets. Matter of fact, listen.
Los Angeles men were charged with firebombing African Americans living in a heavily Hispanic area in 2014. They were charged in a 10-count indictment unsealed in federal court Thursday. They were also charged for their roles in a racketeering enterprise that used violence and intimidation. Justice reporter Paula Reed is in Washington to discuss it all. Paula, the Justice Department says this is one of the largest civil rights indictments in local history. What are prosecutors alleging?
That's right, Elaine. This is one of the biggest cases that they've brought in under the civil rights statute in quite some time, which is also part of why it took so long to actually get this indictment, approximately 2 years. Prosecutors allege a barbaric plan to attack and intimidate African-American residents of the Ramona Gardens housing complex in East Los Angeles. Now, this complex is about 95% Hispanic and about 3% African-American.
That's an old report that came out a long time ago. Now, how many times did you hear about that on the national news? Or do you think that story just went away? So all the meanwhile, while folks are screaming black and brown coalition, this type of shit's going on. And them same people who are telling you that immigration is a black issue, and the same people telling you we all peoples of colors, and we're all the blacks and browns, no elisions, the same people telling you about that never tell you about this.
Charges of racism tonight at an Orange County high school basketball game.
Cell phone video captured a long series of racial slurs directed at a black player during a game at Laguna Hills High School. Those are just two of the racist taunts we heard in the video from last Friday's game with Portola High, which is in Irvine. In the video, we heard the slurs go on for almost a minute, directed at the only black player on Portola's team. Tonight, the players' parents went to the Irvine City Council meeting to share their outrage. They say the hate-filled rant went on for the entire game, and no one attempted to stop it.
Fuck no, ain't nobody stopped it. Because the whole goddamn staff agrees with the shit. The damn coaches agree with it. The student body agrees with it. The teachers union, the teacher's pet, the teacher's assistant, they all agree with it. The damn mascot is probably calling him the N-word. And that school is 90% no elition. And that same school is filled with a lot of undocumented folks. That's what we talk about. The documented, the undocumented, it's the same mentality. And all those people with the green cards do is they harbor the ones without a green card. All those people with the green cards do is they cape for the people without a green card. That's all it is. It's harboring a criminal. Now, if you or I were to harbor a criminal, we going straight to jail. But in our government, they have places called sanctuary cities. And I don't even think people understand how deep that is. A sanctuary city is a place where they tell you you can come here to get away from the law. You can break the law and run down here and get away with it. And this is what the Democratic Party provides for criminals who come to this country illegally. So let me get this right. You break the law by coming to this country. So the first time you step foot in the country, you were already breaking the law. You were already breaking the law on day one. And then the politician who's supposed to uphold the law tells you, oh, if you break the law, go there and you get away with it. You've seen liberals on TV giving out tactics and telling you what to do if ICE calls. Now, have they ever gave black Americans any type of tactics to do when we get pulled over by a race soldier? Do they tell us how to handle those situations? Or do they just tell us we just need to vote blue? So when it comes to a criminal who ain't got no business being in this country in the first place, it's a sanctuary city where you can get away with breaking the law. When it comes to foundational black Americans who are being harmed by race soldiers, it's vote for Joe Biden, vote for Barack Obama, or whoever the fuck else they put forward. Do you see the difference? This is why you need to grab that goddamn phone, spin that motherfucker around, press redial, go to your contacts, hit 1-800-ICE, I'm calling on everybody. That's what the fuck you need to do. Call ICE, stop, do a motherfucking circle, call them again. Walk up the block, go to the store, come home, call ICE one more time. It don't matter. And this goes for all of them, because a lot of folks is out there saying, you gonna call ICE on them or me? Man, we calling ICE on both y'all asses. If you come to this country illegally, it's me, as a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, it's my duty to call ICE. That's what it's made for. ICE wasn't made just to be there. ICE is a federally funded group that we pay our tax money for, and I just want to make sure my tax dollars go to the right place. I mean, they send our tax dollars to Afghan refugees, and they send our tax dollars to people separated at the border and give them Airbnbs. They live better than homeless people. I mean, literally, you have refugees from Afghanistan that are living in Airbnbs getting provided allowances. I'm talking like thousands of dollar allowances, while you have people who served in the United States military sleeping outside in a tent in the middle of the winter. So yes, if my taxpayer dollars are going to go to foreigners who break the law coming to this country, then I'm going to make sure my dollars go to paying my phone bill so my phone can call ICE on your ass.
To immigrant communities across the country bracing for an ICE crackdown to kick into high gear now.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement is cracking down on employers hiring undocumented workers.
Notices of inspection.
It's really important for America to protect American jobs for authorized workers and U.S. citizens, and really to level the playing field in terms of unfair competition.
Know that. There was another intelligent sister who called in the space the other night, because like I said, we had so many brilliant black folks who called in. I don't care what nobody says. We got minds right now that can change the whole community overnight. That's why people like Clyburn and Maxine Waters, their days of fraudulently representing black folks is over. Their politician days are coming to an end. We're about to run them out of office and start putting some real B1 grassroots reparationists in office. And we got the minds to do it. You see it all the time. And it don't take nothing special because we got some solid black people. This sister called in, as I was saying, and she made a point. She said we should make it an initiative to call ICE. Pick a day, pick a time, and we just flood the lines. That's how you do it. It's like boycotting. When you boycott, you say, you stay home, I'ma stay home, we gonna fuck with their money. It's the same thing with ICE. Sister made a point. She said, we got 300 people in the room right now. If 300 of us called ICE right now, shit'll work. And for all those people saying, well, will ICE, do anything? You goddamn right it'll do something. You start flooding them lines and guarantee shit gonna move. I guarantee you that. And look at foundational black Americans. We don't go to anybody's country and hate on them. We go to other people's country and we respect them. They come to our country and they got nothing but hate. Look at our movies. Who do they bring over? They bring over all these black UK folks instead of getting black Americans to play black American roles. That's why we call them the tether class and the buffer class, because they're only around to tether themselves to our issues, and that's it. So no, it ain't just regular jobs. It's in all aspects where they can find somebody who is submissive to supremacy opposed to somebody who is defiant to supremacy. And the only people who are defiant to supremacy historically have been foundational black Americans. In other words, us. Who remembers in Chicago during the George Floyd protests? Black folks were out there protesting anti-black racism and protesting race soldiers, and a bunch of groups from the People of Color Coalition, they started just running up on black people. Jason Black did a report on it. Tariq Nasheed did a report on it. It was all over social media. Ain't nobody said a word. I mean, they were just doing it. Like, black folks were out there protesting race soldiers for everything that happened to George Floyd. And this was in Chicago, by the way. George Floyd happened in Minneapolis. In Chicago, a lot of those other groups, their gangs ran up and were just beating up young black kids. This happens all the time. We see it all the time. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows. Remember that little boy that was riding his bike and that minority race soldier shot him? You didn't hear nothing about that on the news. They didn't even charge the guy. We actually had to put pressure on this dude to get charges. And by the way, that guy just copped the plea and he's walking the streets again. And this is a little boy. And they let him go. Remember Latasha Harlings going way back to 1991? Yeah, they skipped over all of that because that doesn't fit the narrative of some type of minority coalition. The term minority and the term POC were only designed so they can intertwine black issues with everyone else's issues and provide them a buffer so they could take our tangibles and our resources. I always say this, and all my subscribers know what I'm talking about. I say they stand next to us politically, stand away from us socially. Socially, it's everything we just talked about. It's the gangs in Chicago beating up black kids. It's cartels in California. It's Latasha Harlins. It's our man Akai Gurley in New York. That's what we get socially. I mean, look at all the nonsense they say about us. They say they created all of our culture, but they hate us at the same time. They saying they created hip hop. I seen the African dude say he created hip hop in the 1960s or some shit. You got the diaspora. They say they created hip hop. All these people hate on us, but at the same time try to take our culture. Ain't that a motherfucker? How you gonna cosplay me and then hate me at the same time? It's the same thing with the other groups. Immigrants built America. That's cosplaying our ancestors, because we all know our ancestors built this country. And then they slid that in. Look how Joe Biden was just meeting with the Latino caucus. He was smiling and grinning. He met with the black caucus. He said, "The hell with y'all." But here's the thing. The black caucus works for the Latino caucus because the black caucus don't work for us. I'll tell you why. It's because when they stand next to us politically, they can hang around just long enough for when reparations comes in. When resources come in, when tangibles come in, then they can swoop down real quick and just snatch that shit out of our hand. That's why every single minority group has had laws enacted for them, why black Americans have got nothing. There's groups out here that have more done for them in 1 month than black Americans have gotten in 500 years. Straight up and down, everybody knows it. This is what we get.
The reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Okay, y'all heard that. This is what they get.
The API community, when we saw the targeting, when we've seen the hate, when we've seen the viciousness of it all. And we all see that. And as a member of this community, I share in that outrage. I share in that outrage and grief. No. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.
See the difference? And you notice every single time one of these other immigrant groups gets a law or tangible written for them, it's just for them. They can keep it, they can hold it tight, they ain't got to share one goddamn iota. Anytime we get a law, it's got to be collective and everybody gets it. It's the all lives matter laws. Black folks basically politically get nothing, and if you get something, you have to share. Everyone else that we share with gets their own exclusive things. This is all set up. You could take Joe Biden and Kamala Harris right now. Their administration has given out billions of dollars, damn near trillions of dollars, to people who are not even American. You're talking about Airbnbs. You're talking about $400,000 a piece paychecks. You're talking about 3 or 4 rounds of stimulus. Let's remember this. And nobody talks about it, but we gonna talk about it. These other groups are on their 3rd waves of reparations, just from the Biden administration alone. I'm not even talking about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. No, just from the Biden administration, the Ukrainians are on their 3rd paychecks of reparations. People separated at the border by Trump, they're on their 3rd wave of reparation. The Afghan refugees are on their 3rd form of reparations. Those are 3 groups that are not even American. And they're not on their 1st reparations check, not on their 2nd reparations check, but their 3rd. And let me tell you how the play goes. The first play is you hear about it in the news. They have a press conference, a couple stories about it. Joe Biden cuts this much aid for this group here. Then the second one, well, that goes back further in the newspaper. And then it goes even further back in the newspaper. And by the 3rd one, no talk, they don't even report on that shit. But the money gets deposited. You gotta watch it. I got brothers and sisters on my timeline that cover immigration better than any major news outlet in America. Every major news outlet in America. Because like we said, half of this shit is swiped and half this shit isn't spoken of. You gotta know the nuances, you gotta know the details. And they're forking out a lot of money, and this money's going to everybody except for FBAs, because the ultimate goal is to attempt to bury us under immigration and bring in a bunch of anti-black racists to replace us. That is the stronghold. This is what they're pushing for. And anytime a black person is out here voting for the Democratic Party or caping for these people saying, I can't cause ICE, it's just the wrong things to do, all you're doing is training your replacement. That's it. It's like working at the job. That person you training, you just training the person who's going to end up taking your office space, taking your paycheck, and taking your job. It's on the job training, and that's exactly what you're doing every time you're caping. As for us, certified black society, nah, we ain't got no capes. But what we do have is we have cell phones, we have speed dial, redial, and dial tone, and all you got to do is call 1-866-DHS2-ICE, and I'll see you if your ass ain't got them papers. Be one. All right, y'all. It was good chopping it up with y'all today, family. Black Alpha Network. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I appreciate all my day ones. I appreciate being black. I appreciate being a certified, a foundational black American, standing in the land that our ancestors built, standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, representing this era to the fullest, and doing everything we got to do to stay strong and keep it going. Yes. All you guys, man, you know I love you with a passion. Please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay focused. And I always say that, and I add, get to the money. Because if you got the money and you got everything else, then you're living your best life. And I want to see you all win. Man, I can't wait to talk to y'all again. I can't wait to the next episode. I'm sending positive vibe and positive energies your way, straight from the BAN. I appreciate the love. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and subscribe to all of the new black media, because we're definitely bringing that heat. And we're going to do it together as us, because ain't nobody better than us. Peace, love, and reparations, y'all. And remember one thing, that's black is beautiful and beautiful is black. One love.